Yo guys, what is up? Battlefield here, and we are back with another news update for Disney Infinity 3.0. So, over the course of this week, I've been collecting some more screenshots for you guys and different pieces of news information from a couple of different sources. We've got more from Game Informer on their 1-month cover review of Disney Infinity 3.0, as well as a couple of screenshots from some recent videos by Family Gamer TV. So if you want to see where these pictures and screenshots came from, definitely check the links in the description below to where I found all this information. And for Family Gamer TV, definitely check out his video and see out the full gameplay of each of these things. So, what you see here in front of us, right here, is what the startup menu will look like. So when you boot up the game, you're going to see this screen, and then you're going to have to press X if you're on PlayStation, or most likely A if you're on any of the Xbox consoles. Then that will take you to the main menu, which we have right here. So this is the main menu for Disney Infinity 3.0. So in this picture, they are getting ready to start a new game of Twilight of the Republic playset, but we've got also maybe a message system and a picture of what the playset is going to be. So it looks like you might be able to make you can load your previous save or create a new save just like the previous games, but this is kind of what the main menu is going to look like. In the background, we can see kind of what the Toy Box Hub is going to look like, and so that's kind of cool. So in the next screenshot, we see the introduction of the Twilight of the Republic playset. So in this playset, you start out on Geonosis, and we see some Republic cruisers flying through the Geonosis asteroid belt towards the planet. So this is really awesome, and the game looks very cool, well crafted and designed. So there's a long cutscene in the beginning kind of explaining what's going on, and how there's a new droid factory that has been rebooted up and is producing droids again. So that's kind of the overall storyline for the Twilight of the Republic playset. But so we get to see in Family Gamer TV's video, we get to see a little bit of the actual gameplay for the beginning of the Twilight of the Republic playset. So in this screenshot, they have Anakin placed down as the character, and this is like the very beginning of the gameplay, and a droid gunship flies in and drops off some droids for you to take on, and this is kind of where you learn how to attack and what the combat's going to be like. So you kind of see the Geonosis background looks super awesome, and then Plo Koon, of course, is our mission giver, like I talked about in the previous episode, and we also get to see what the icon for each character is going to look like up in the corner, and their XP bar. So now we go to the next screenshot, and we see Darth Maul on the Geonosis level taking on a super battle droid, which is super cool. Now these guys are going to be a lot tougher than the rest of the enemies that you have to face, so there's actually some strategy to taking them out. You have to get in and score a couple of hits and then get out and continue doing that until you take them out. If you go in and you try and just attack and attack and attack and just go crazy on them, you're probably going to get killed, because these guys have a melee attack that they will swing their arm at you and knock you over. So besides the Super Battle Droid and Darth Maul in this picture, we also get to see the mini-map for Geonosis map. So we get to see that the mini-map is in the lower left corner, and kind of shows where our enemies are and a basic general outline of the landscape around us. We also see Darth Maul's character icon, his level number, most likely XP bar, the number of sparks we've collected, his health bar, and then this is your special move meter, and you have to fill it up all the way before you can activate your character's special ability. So now we get to see some of the pictures just of in general of this playset. So we get to see Anakin Skywalker taking on some commando droids in the Geonosian arena with some battle droids. Looks like you can actually, like, your lightsaber actually does damage. See his blaster is kind of sliced. You see some clones firing in the background, and so just overall looks very nice. Now we see Ahsoka and Anakin leaping across a gap, probably using their force jump, and the droids cannot make it that far, and they are falling off the cliff to the ground below. And we see some droidicas rolling after them, which is super cool. So the droidicas will be able to roll around and chase after you. And then we've previously seen a picture of Obi-Wan deflecting the blaster bolts of an activated and upright droidica. Now in the background we can see these droid landing pods from Attack of the Clones, as well as the cores to the command ships for the Separatists. So that is very cool, keeping the same feel of the Battle of Geonosis from Attack of the Clones. And now we see Anakin taking out, and Obi-Wan taking out more droids. Obi-Wan's using the Force to throw this kind of guy off the map, and we get to see some bridge in the background as well as more of the landscape. So looks very cool. Just some random screenshots to show you guys what the game will look like. Now we see Anakin with a downward sweep, probably a jump, maybe slam attack, that is causing the droids around him to be thrown away and chopped into pieces. So we also see this is most likely in the Geonosian arena that the player will be able to fight in, but we also see that crashed gunship that we've seen before, but this time it's got a little bit of a flame on it that I don't know if we've noticed before. So here, now we get to see some screenshots of stuff we haven't really seen before. So this is Obi-Wan taking out a bunch of droids in the Geonosian factory. So looks like Obi-Wan's done some sort of dash, maybe special attack, and he's like split all these droids down the center, and he's going to move on to attack these guys. Then we've got a spark capsule up here, as well as the droid protection line. It looks like they're on the conveyor belt, but there's this tower back here that we may be able to hop up onto from a different area, as well as we can see in the background rows and rows and rows of droids being produced on the production line. So that is really cool. The interior's kind of got this like foggy look, much like in Attack of the Clones. It's kind of that dark and mysterious, kind of foreboding atmosphere, since it's like all these droids being produced. But it looks very awesome. Now we see some space combat above Geonosis. So this is in the asteroid belt that we saw previously with those Republic cruisers coming in, but we will be able to fly and avoid these asteroids and take on some vulture droids in this playset. So that's really awesome. Kind of maybe be able to reenact that chase scene if you're playing with a friend through the asteroid belt with Jango Fett and Obi-Wan. So that might be something that players can do just on their own, just recreate those asteroid belt chases. We also get to see kind of what the vulture droids are going to look like in this style. So now we see another picture of the inside of the droid factory. Looks like we're going to get some rail sliding action in here and hopping over obstacles, because it looks like there's a flamethrower right here. You have to hop over and continue on your way. And It looks like we might have enemies actually sliding along behind us and possibly firing on us, because this commando droid right here looks like he is also riding the rail. Now in the background we see an unfolded droideka and a commando droid next to him, as well as some designs on top of this pillar for inside the factory. So I don't know if this will be something interactable, like if you have to solve a puzzle or what, but that is kind of cool, just the design of this pillar, and it looks like it's got some sort of buttons on it as well. So kind of just another picture of what the inside of the droid factory will look like, and it looks very cool. And we get to see Obi-Wan and Anakin in action together. So in this picture we see Yoda holding, looks like he's commanding an entire clone army. So this may be from a cutscene, or maybe we'll be able to encounter and maybe interact with these clones, which would be really cool. But we get to see a little bit more close-up of what the clones are going to look like, what their armor detail looks like. It looks really good. It looks like the normal Phase 1 clone trooper armors, and we also see that Separatist core ship in the background, as well as some gunships flying overhead. So that looks very awesome, and Yoda's got this nice little pose, like he's getting ready to have the clones charge into battle, which I think is super awesome. Now we're moving on from Geonosis, transitioning over to Coruscant, which is one of the 4 planets that have been confirmed for Twilight of the Republic playset. You will be able to travel to Geonosis, Coruscant, Tatooine, and Naboo, which Naboo I read about, which is a planet that I did not know we would be able to travel to, because I have not seen any screenshots or any images of what Naboo is going to look like, but I'm kind of excited to go and see what that open world environment is going to look like. But here we are on Coruscant in the Jedi Temple room. We're at the Jedi Council, and so we may be able to get missions from the Jedi Council, and we kind of get to see what some of the members look like in this style. We see Ayla Secura back here, Plo Koon, Mace Windu, who's a new character that we haven't seen previously, Yoda, who's a playable character, as well as Obi-Wan, who's also a playable character. Now, the way this is set up and looks like the people playing this are playing as Ahsoka and Anakin, or they are the main characters of the storyline, and this is possibly a cutscene. But the interesting thing for me is we've seen some previous images of Coruscant, and it's all daytime, but this is kind of a sunset looking landscape for the sky. So, well, like I mentioned in the last episode with the nighttime Endor, we may be seeing a day-night cycle, which is really cool, because we've seen pictures of Endor both at day and night, and now we've seen pictures of Coruscant daytime as well as a sunset. So this kind of leads me to believe that we'll be seeing some sort of day-night cycle, or it depends on the mission that you're playing. Like in Monsters University in Disney Infinity 1.0, we had daytime Monsters University, but certain nights, certain missions were at nighttime, and you had to sneak onto the Fear Tech campus and destroy their property and like TP buildings and stuff. So it may be continuing on like 1.0, or we may get to see a continuous day-night cycle that cycles like every 10 minutes or so, which would be very awesome to see. Now we see another picture of maybe a cantina in the background, but all the heroes playable in the playset all lined up and posing. But we kind of see some Urbesh alphabet writing on some sort of signpost, and some awesome weird looking architecture in the background. Not exactly sure what building that is, but super cool looking, and I'm excited to check that out when the game officially releases. So now we transition over to the third planet that we are going to be able to play in the Twilight of the Republic playset. This is Tatooine, since in the prequels they do go to Tatooine in the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, both different for different reasons. But so it looks like we'll be able to attack some Tusken Raiders, and we see Obi-Wan trying to take them out. Looks like we've got both gaffy stick wielding Tusken Raiders and rifle wielding, because this guy looks like he is shooting blaster bolts at Obi-Wan. We also got banthas, which are confirmed rideable, so maybe we can, while we're attacking these Tusken Raiders, hop on one of their banthas and kind of ride off with it, which would be cool. We also see a town in the background. Not sure if this is the same town that we've seen previously with Luke walking through, but that is a town that we will be able to play in the Twilight of the Republic playset. We also see the double suns possibly heading towards the horizon and hinting towards that day-night cycle. Now we get to see something that a lot of people are super excited about for the Twilight of the Republic playset, that now looks like it may be confirmed that we have pod racing. So we see Ahsoka and Anakin's pod racers from the prequels facing off against Sebulba in what looks like one of the final bends of the Mos Espa pod race track. So that is super cool. We kind of get to see some village buildings built into the canyon walls and some awning drapings. Looks like maybe we'll, outside of racing, you might be able to hop on top of that and get up on top of this ridge above, which is really awesome. So we get to see what Sebulba looks like and what the pod racers look like in this style, and that is super cool because many people have been looking forward to pod racing, and I have been as well. So that's super awesome that we will possibly be able to race people in a pod racing mode or challenges within this playset. So now we get to see a little bit of a picture. We're moving into the toy box aspect of Disney Infinity 3.0, and this is a Ewok village that was built completely out of toys available in the toy box, and this is within the toy box hub, so it's one of the platforming games in the platforming section of the hub. So after you beat the first initial platforming level, this level appears and you can go through this, but this also shows what players will be able to do using the Endor type pieces that will go into the toy box, and that we can actually build Ewok villages. And here's a picture of kind of what it looks like from up in the treetops in that Ewok village. It looks super cool, a lot like Endor, and I'm super excited to build my own Ewok village and make it feel a lot like Endor. So we also got to see a couple of the playset toy box pieces for Star Wars that will go into the toy box. We get to see Jabba's palace in a sand crawler off to the side here. Jabba's palace looks like there may be a button there that will be interactable. Maybe we'll get the little eye that pops out and talks to you, or possibly even be able to go inside and see Jabba the Hutt himself. Now we see a AT-AT. Not sure if it will be drivable in the toy box, but we do know it is confirmed drivable in the playset, but it hasn't been confirmed if it's drivable in the toy box. But we do get to see that you can place down it, possibly for just decoration, and it kind of has these flap, like the sides are open. Maybe that's where you get to a cockpit to drive it, or you can just jump up and walk inside of it. So that is going to be it for the news that I have collected this week. There's going to be a little bit of a break between now and the next episode because I'm going on a trip for 1 week, and then I will be back and I will try to make another episode once I'm back with all of the information that has come up while I am away. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all next episode when I have some more news for Disney Infinity 3.0.